Everyone, and welcome back to English with Malik. This is me, Malik, and I am here today with an important lesson for you. A lot of students have asked me to talk about that, to discuss that, topic in a bit detail so that others can understand. It's a very kind of confusing topic for a lot of students. It is simple, compound, and complex sentences. What are they? Firstly, and how we can distinguish between them, how we can recognize them, and how we can formulate them. Okay, what is a simple sentence? What is a compound sentence? What is a complex sentence? And most importantly, what's the difference between compound and complex? And again, how we can formulate them, recognize them firstly, and how we can formulate them. 12K for university, and sometimes also in competitive exams, such kind of MCQs do come where you have to figure out what is a simple, compound, or a complex sentence. So let's begin with a simple sentence. What's a simple sentence? Well, these are the five shapes or forms, or you can say types in which we can make a simple sentence. Okay, these are the five ways which we can use to make a simple sentence. The very first is subject and verb. A simple sentence can be made with only subject and verb. For example, I study, I teach, I sleep, I eat, I run, I play. Okay, so it's just subject and verb only. Okay, then we have subject, verb, and complement. Okay, complement is actually completing the sentence. In simple terms, we can say. So there are two ways in which we can make a subject verb complement sentence. Like I am tall and I want to go home. Tall is an adjective. Okay, you can make a sentence with complement by using an adjective like subject, verb, and complement. I am tall. So to make a sentence with complement, you need an adjective. Secondly, you need a noun phrase. Okay, so to go home is a noun phrase because it is starting with infinitive. We say that a noun phrase can be made in two ways, either by infinitive or by gerund. Okay, so here we are using infinitive. So subject verb complement can be made by an adjective, by a noun phrase. Subject verbs are already there. So I is a subject, am is a verb, I is a subject, want is a verb. To go home is a noun phrase, and tall is an adjective. Thirdly, subject, verb plus adverbial or adverb, we say, but most commonly we say adverbial. A sentence like she sings beautifully. So beautifully is used, which is a one word, as an adverbial. The same word can be used by saying in a beautiful way. So you say like she sings in a beautiful way. That is an adverb phrase. Okay, so if you want to know about phrases, especially noun phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, please go and watch my those lessons where I have talked in detail about these phrases like noun phrases, adjective phrases, and adverb phrases. So beautifully is one word, an adverb. In a beautiful way, it is a way of saying the same thing by using a phrase that is called an adverb phrase. So subject, verb, adverbial. She is a subject, sings is a verb, beautifully or in a beautiful way, that is an adverb. Fourthly, subject, verb, and object. Okay, that is the most common one that we say. He bought a book. Okay, so he is a subject, bought is a verb, a book, which is a noun, it is a. Sometimes people are confused as to how to distinguish between an object and a complement. Okay, well, just remember one thing, that you can never make a passive of a complement, but you can always make a passive of an object. Okay, for example, I am tall. You cannot make a passive. I want to go home. You cannot make passive. He bought a book. Yes, a book was bought by him. So if you want to know whether a word, noun especially, whether it is an object or not, please make a passive of it. Okay, And if you can make a passive of it, that will be an object. If you can't, it could be any other thing. The last one is subject, verb, object. Okay, a sentence, a simple sentence where we have two objects. Like he bought a book for me. So now we have two objects, a book and me. Both are objects in this sentence. Okay. A book is called a direct object. Okay, that is a direct object. And me is called an indirect object. Okay. How to distinguish, how to determine, how to find out whether a word is a direct object or an indirect object? Well, the easiest way is that direct objects are always things, okay, or animals. Things and animals are direct object. Indirect object are people, always, okay. So if there are people like me, you, him, her, or any other person, that will be an indirect object. And direct object will always be things or animals. Okay, so what is a simple sentence is in 5 ways. It can be subject and verb, I study. It can be subject, verb, and complement. I am tall, I want to go home, where tall is an adjective. To go home is a noun phrase. Subject, verb, and adverbial. She sings beautifully in a beautiful way. So both beautifully is an adverb, in a beautiful way is an adverb phrase. Subject plus object. He bought a book. So a book is object. Subject, verb plus object. Two objects we have, like he bought a book for me. So a book is a direct object and me is an indirect object. Okay, now let's see a compound sentence. What is a compound sentence? Compound is a combination of two simple things. Okay, so actually in a compound sentence, we have two simple sentences, like he is a fool, he is a knave. Okay, so this simple sentence and this simple sentence, when joined together, and they are joined in such a way that when we separate them, both have their complete meaning. Both will be called independent clauses. Actually, when they come in compound sentence, they become clauses. So we have, let's see, for examples, he is a fool and a knave. In this sentence, we are joining these two simple sentences with and, which is a conjunction. Okay, and is used, remember also that and is used to join compound sentence only. Okay, it will never be used in a complex sentence. So he is a fool and a knave. Actually, in this sentence, I want to say he's a fool and he is a knave. But I'm not saying that. Why? Because I'm not using the same subject again. He is both a fool and a knave. Now here I'm using this both and I'm using and. So both and can be used to make two simple sentences into one compound sentence. And again, when we separate them, both will have their complete meaning. He's a fool as well as a knave. Now here we are using this as well as, which is also a conjunction we use for compound sentence. He is not only a fool but also a knave. So we are using not only but also. Okay, these are the 4 conjunctions which we can use. There are other as well. I'll come to them as well. But these are the 4 which we are using to make two simple sentences into a compound sentence. And again, remember, when it is a compound sentence, it has 2 clauses. These 2 pieces are called 2 clauses. And both of these clauses are called independent clauses. Okay. What is a clause? Is a group of words which has a subject and verb at least. Okay. Or we say it has a subject and predicate. Okay. So independent clause is a clause that has a subject and predicate. So both of the pieces have independent clauses and both give their own meaning. Now, the second example is the wind blew, the rain fell, and the lightning flashed. You know, we can also make a compound sentence with the help of 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 sentences. Like the wind blew, comma, the rain fell, comma, and the lightning flashed. Here we have used comma, okay, at both places, and to make these 3 sentences into a one compound sentence. And again, if we separate all these 3 pieces, they will be independent and they will have their own complete meaning. The wind blew fine. The rain fell, fine. The lightning flashed. No piece is depending on the other piece. All three of the pieces are called independent clauses. Okay, let's see a few more examples of compound sentences. For example, he is slow, he is sure. Okay, two separate sentences. We say he is slow, but he is sure. So we are using this but here. Make haste, you will be late. Make haste, or you will be late. Both the pieces are independent clauses. Again, I'm saying, and both can be separated. Come in, go out. Come in or go out. Don't be a borrower. Don't be a lender. Be neither a borrower or a lender. Neither or. This sentence is actually from William Shakespeare's play Hamlet. Okay. He was obstinate, he was punished. He was obstinate, therefore he was punished. Okay. So this is how we are making simple sentence into a compound sentence. Remember, two simple sentences, three simple sentences, four simple sentences can be converted into compound sentence. But each part of a compound sentence will be an independent clause. It will be an independent clause, a separate clause with its own meaning. These are some of the most common connectors for compound sentences. Okay. If, for example, you want to know very quickly how you can figure out whether a sentence is a compound sentence or a complex sentence, see for these connectors: and, but, so, yet, or, therefore, but, and, neither, nor, either, or, not only, but also. These are some of the most common connectors which we use for compound sentences. Okay, let's see now the complex sentence. A complex sentence is also a combination of two or three simple sentences. Okay, remember that. Compound sentences are made with simple sentences. Complex sentences are also made with simple sentences. What's the difference? The difference is that in compound sentence, both the simple sentences, when they are joined in a compound sentence, they have independent clauses which, when separated, have complete meaning. But in the case of complex sentence, the parts of complex sentence, I mean the clauses of complex sentences, are one independent, one dependent. How they are? Let's see. For instance, we have a sentence like, you are repentant, I will not forget. By repentant mean you kind of ask for forgiveness. You make a mistake and then you ask for forgiveness. So I will not forget that you are repentant. In this sentence, this part is called independent clause. Okay, and that part is called dependent clause. Now, this is the difference between a compound or a complex sentence. In compound sentence, both pieces are independent clauses. But in this, like, I will not forget. I will not forget. Okay, that's fine. I will not forget. Okay, that you are repentant. That you are repentant. This piece needs to be with this one. Then we can understand the full meaning. That you are repentant. Okay, that you are repentant. What? That you are repentant does not give complete meaning. So this part has to depend on that part. He may be innocent, I do not know. I do not know whether he is innocent. Okay. So in this sentence as well, one part is depending on the other one. You are strong, I am equally strong. I am as strong as you are. Okay, that is another example. And the very common example which you can easily understand is with if clauses. For example, we say, if it rains, we will go out. Okay, if it rains, we will go out. See, this part, we will go out, is okay. We will go out. Fine. The meaning is clear. If it rains. Now, if somebody says, if it rains, then we say, okay, what? So what? What comes next? If it rains, what? So this part has to depend on that part. which means dependent clause depends on independent clause. So a complex sentence is a sentence in which again we have two or three simple sentences, but when they come into a complex sentence, one part is independent clause, the other part is called the dependent clause. Therefore, it is called a complex sentence. Okay, let's see a few more examples of complex sentence. Like, you may sit wherever you like. Okay, in this part is independent clause. You may sit, fine, you may sit wherever you like. This wherever you like is in the dependent clause, and it needs to be connected with that one. As he was not there, I spoke to his father. I spoke to his father. I spoke to his father. Okay, fine, no problem with that. But as he was not there, so what? As he was not there, so you need some more explanation. Therefore, you go for independent clause. If I make a promise, I keep it. Again, this is dependent. If I make a promise, I keep it. Okay, I keep a promise. I remembered the house where I was born. Where I was born, I remembered the house. Fine, independent clause. Where I was born, dependent clause. The dog that bites does not bark. Okay, this is a bit tricky because again it is in two pieces. The dog bites, this is one piece, okay, which does not bark. Okay, that's the another part. I expect that I shall get a prize. I shall get a prize. I shall get a prize. Fine, no problem. Independent clause. I expect that. What do you expect? You need to say something else. These are the most common conjunctions or connectors for complex sentence. Again, if you are confused between compound and complex sentence, look for them. Like when, until, after, as soon as, while, before, because, as, since, so, who, which, that, although, however, even though, if, in order to. These are the most common conjunctions which you can look for in a sentence. If you are not sure about a sentence, whether it is a compound sentence or a complex sentence, just remember these connectors. They will help you very quickly understand that whether it is a compound sentence or a complex sentence. If you find one of these in a sentence like this, that is actually a complex sentence. Okay, now let's have a quick review. We enjoy playing cricket. It's a simple sentence. Why? Because there is subject, verb, and then we have a complement. Okay. You can either stay or you can go. You can either stay or you can go. Both pieces are independent clauses. That's why it is a compound sentence. If you do not hurry, you will miss the flight. If you do not hurry, dependent clause, you will miss the flight, independent clause. Okay, as a final note, I should say also that in a simple sentence, we have one subject, one verb. In compound sentence and complex sentence, we have two subjects, two verbs. And the difference is that in compound sentence, both clauses are independent clauses, and in a complex sentence, one is independent and one is dependent. Well, this is it for now. I hope you have really understood what is a simple compound complex sentence, and now hopefully you won't have any problem. If still you have problem, please review them. It's a bit technical, structure. So study it, review it, make your own sentences, practice as much as possible, and then if you have still an issue, write to me in the comments. I'll get back to you and I'll help you. Until the next lesson, bye.